Alright guys, just a little quick update on the FRS. I was going to try to get to all the messages at the bottom of some of the videos, but it's just easier for me to do it like this. The FRS is completely together, it's running, it's driving, everything seems fine with it. And I will tell you that, and I've said this 100 times, I really think Toyota done a great job providing us with a car that swaps are easy in. And looking back on it now that everything's said and done and the car actually runs and drives, I believe that even more now than when I started. The electric power steering can be wired if somebody knows what they're doing for it to work in 100% mode all the time, which means that it gives full assist constantly. And you really don't tell it that much that it's helping out anymore at high speeds, but it really does help at low speeds. And it's really not that difficult to do that. Everything on the dash except for the tachometer and the temperature gauge works independent of itself. And having said that, it's really just the speedometer and the fuel sending unit gauge. However, of course, it still works with a factory fuel sending unit, and the speedometer is actually a GPS unit. And I really thought that was going to be one of the harder parts, but once I got it in the car and got it running, first time I drove it, I realized that the speedometer is going to work, period. So everything about that's fine. A couple of people asked what transmission. It's got an RB30 transmission in it for the time being. We're having a little bit of issues out of it just because it was what was in the old car and the old 240 that the motor was in. Yeah, we were kind of hard on it, so it's got a few janky spots in it. We're probably going to take that out and fix it. The drive shaft needs a little bit of work, but we're using an rb26 oil pan and got all that situated. But overall, I'm really happy with the car. I'll probably give a video update of us driving it in the next month or so, because we still do have a few small issues to work out, but I think you guys are going to be really impressed with the car. Even at very low amounts of boost, we had the car on 21 or 22 pounds before, where it made 600 horsepower and some change. Now it's on 7 pounds. It makes roughly 250 horsepower, 275 horsepower. And we're just trying to get all the bugs worked out in the car. We hadn't put an updated bigger fuel pump in the tank yet. So we're still trying to be a little conservative with the boost until we get enough fuel to feed the motor. But once again, very happy with the way everything turned out. If later on you guys decide to do this, remember that the stock FRS fuel system is actually look closely, it's actually two feed lines that go to the stock FA20. There's not one feed line and a return. So later, whenever you do that, both those lines going up there are feed lines. You do not have a return line. So when everything's said and done, just make sure, you know, the regulator's built in the tank. Just run one fuel line straight up to your fuel rail. Put a gauge on it. Don't worry about it. Set it like 57 pounds. It'll do exactly what it needs to do. So everything's good there. But once again, like I said, everything in the car works great. The heat stuff is standalone from any of the engine management. Power windows, radio, all that stuff completely standalone. Speedometer is completely standalone. So unless you just had to have a tachometer and you had to have a coolant temp sensor working on the dash, the rest of the car will function completely intermittent of that. Somebody asked about the differential. It's probably going to puke out shortly, and we're going to put a Subaru unit in it from an STI. But that's only going to happen after we start making some serious power, and by then I'll give you guys an update on what's happening. But anyway, thanks you guys for watching. There'll be some more updates to come. Please give me time. I have a lot of crazy things going on this year. One business that's booming, and my other race car business I'm getting off the ground. It's actually doing really well. But if you guys could share the videos up, let everybody watch them, let everybody like them. You know, I have some other videos on my channel of some racing things that we do throughout the year, and I do some really funny things with that. But if you're not in our group, you probably don't get any of that stuff or any of the jokes that are made, and it's fine. But either way, stay tuned in, like us, share us, tell your friends to subscribe if you're watching this. And you're not subscribed, subscribe to us, and just help us keep going. Every little bit that you guys do, just liking and subscribing, helps us on the backside just a little bit. You know, we get a little kickback from letting ads and stuff run on our things, but if you could, just support us and send your friends our way if they need some things done. But anyway, this is Rob from Rob's Rides. Appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll see you in a little while.